hundreds of illegal immigrants stormed Ceuta's beach. How did the authorities contain this crowd? What were their intentions? Shocking videos show daring attempts by the immigrants to illegally cross into Ceuta. Thousands of migrants attempted to breach the Spanish border in the last couple of days by swimming around controls. Videos on Spanish media showed the Spanish police working overtime around the clock, intercepting illegal migrants in the water at night in thick fog, and many other brazen illegals in broad daylight. Even then, they struggled to discern between new arrivals and casual beachgoers. They crossed from Morocco to Ceuta in Spain, and the Spanish representative told journalists on Monday that about 700 people attempt to breach the border every day. Just this Sunday, there were double that number. While we do not know how many successfully got to Ceuta, we do know that Spain does have a law that allows for border rejections where the authorities can deport people back to Morocco, but they only turn between 150 to 200 people a day. You see, Ceuta and Melilla are two Spanish territories in North Africa, and they have been targeted by migrants and refugees seeking better lives in Europe, illegally. Many try to climb over the barbed wire fences. Because of their geographical location, Spain relies primarily on Morocco's goodwill to control these borders and keep migrants out. The 2021 debacle perfectly illustrated what would happen if these two nations weren't in good standing. After a diplomatic spat between them, thousands of illegal immigrants, many of whom were children, poured into Ceuta within days, overwhelming Spanish authorities. While relations between the two countries have since normalized, authorities in Ceuta already raised an alarm, saying that they are again under pressure this year. Since January, there have been 622 migrant arrivals to Ceuta, compared to just 620 last year, according to the Spanish Interior Ministry. So why should we be concerned about something happening in Spain? Because they are at the front line in terms of immigration. They are the ones to stop immigrants from flooding our countries coming in from Africa. The fact that they are overwhelmed should be setting off alarm bells. According to witnesses, the illegal migrants arrived on the coast of Ceuta at about 7:30 p.m. under the cover of the thick fog that covered the city since dawn. When they got to the beach, they blended with the beachgoers who were enjoying the day. As you can see in the video, hell broke loose once the immigrants made it to shore as they made a run for it. Agents deployed to the scene found themselves in a sticky situation and opted to cordon off the area and identify everyone there one by one. As you can see in the video, though it was a tedious task, authorities made the right call by keeping everyone on the beach until they were all identified, which understandably created discomfort for those visitors. Unable to leave the area freely, they expressed their discontent. You can see in the video how some people are visibly distressed, but that is not the end of the story. Things flared up when one of the police officers was struck by a stone hurled by an unidentified individual. The police officers had to be taken to the hospital, and he was subsequently treated for minor injuries. Despite the situation heating up, the officers maintained good control of the situation, and one was arrested for contempt of authority. The government delegate in Ceuta, Cristina Perez, admitted that the city is under a lot of pressure on the migratory front. On Sunday, there were 1,500 entry attempts alone, which almost brought Ceuta to the brink of collapse. Perez said that only 150 to 200 returns are carried out daily, and that the temporary immigrant stay centre, CT, is already overcrowded. Morocco, meanwhile, stopped 300 swimmers from reaching Ceuta that same day. Perez said that the situation is under control now, partly thanks to Morocco's cooperation, and they have been working hard to keep our borders secure. Thanks to their robust approach to curb migration, they worked with law enforcement and intercepted 87,000 individuals attempting to cross into Europe. Most of them were made by people from sub-Saharan origins. Nowadays, law enforcement agencies are working diligently to control both land and maritime borders. But the situation might change, and they may be overrun soon. The West African migration route saw a spike in activity, over 154% this year alone, and 21,220 people are coming in from the Canary Islands within the first 7 months. Local authorities are stretched thin, and they said that they may have to house migrants in military camps or tents. Spanish authorities, meanwhile, said that they are expecting as many as 150,000 more migrants from Africa in the coming months. That means, while the Ceuta law enforcement is able to control the situation now, things might change in the near future. They may overwhelm the crossings, but many will get through. And they will make their way straight into Europe. And the United Kingdom is very much on the menu. It is also worth noting that the United Kingdom had allegedly attempted to reach out to Morocco, Tunisia, and Namibia. The purpose of the visit? They wanted those countries to be processing centres for migrants turned away by the UK. Unsurprisingly, all three nations declined, but the UK is still looking for other candidates such as Costa Rica, Armenia, and Botswana. Morocco has been emphasising the importance of shared responsibility for decades now, and it has made its stance clear. They will not become Europe's policemen. The problem is clear. We are already overwhelmed, and we are trying to push our responsibilities to other countries. How are we not admitting that is baffling? But the government would have us look the other way because it is more important to maintain a facade than to admit that we have an immigration problem and resolve it, and we are not the only ones who have this problem. According to a survey done by the BVA Excite for the ARTE Europe Weekly, 7 out of 10 Europeans believe that their country is taking in too many immigrants. 85% of the respondents think that the EU needs to do more to combat irregular migration. While the survey does not include our opinions in the UK, it is fair to say that we are not the only one who has the same sentiment. So, we are already at maximum capacity, and our government is asking other countries to pick up the slack. There might be a better solution to this. Perhaps we need to be stricter with our border and only let the right kind of people in. From what we heard from Spain, around 80% of immigrants there have no academic qualifications. As in, they are unskilled labourers, but we need skilled labourers. We need to do more to attract skilled labourers back into our country and not waste resources accommodating illegal immigrants. Normally, we would be okay with having new neighbours to enrich our communities. As you know, a hotel wouldn't accept more reservations if they are at capacity. So why is it that our government's still trying to bite off more than they could chew and then push the leftovers to our friends? Would you accept guests into your home when it is already a mess? The fact of the matter is that as much as some would want more immigrants, we have more pressing problems locally, and taking in more outsiders will not improve the situation if they do not make things worse. And you may think that they are nice people, but the incident from 2 years ago paints a different picture. 23 people died in a stampede when 2,000 migrants attempted to storm into Melilla, pushing down the border fence. 49 civil guards were injured and 4 police vehicles were damaged by rocks thrown by migrants. It is very likely that the unidentified individual who threw a rock at one of the police officers is also one of the illegal immigrants. While the interceptions by law enforcement officers were swift, we know that some still managed to give them the slip, a spokesperson for Perez's office said. So now we have an unknown number of people who are, while understandable, given their precarious situation, potentially violent, floating about. And we are about to see more if the relevant authorities are unable to contain the 150,000 immigrants that are coming our way in the coming months. That is something I do not look forward to. And that is all we have for you today. Please click like and share this news with your friends and family. Subscribe to stay up to date with current events and hit that bell icon to be notified when a new video comes out. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in the next video.